Hello friends, today we go through the very important first steps of starting to meditate. And this is the beginning of a new entry point series, and this style of video can hopefully tremendously help with the very crucial first 3 months of establishing a new habit. Most people already stop after 3 days or even 3 weeks. When you make it that far, most of the new habit will run on autopilot and you are somewhat successful. But without further ado, let us learn how to properly start meditating by having a look at a frame of reference of meditation. And what you can see here is a map that I use as a frame of reference. And at the top part, you see a timeline on how long it takes from beginning to end. And we start on the left side of the map and move towards the right side. At the bottom left, we have the Divine Messenger event, which is an event of great suffering where people notice that they were full of anxiety or bad emotions or stress, or maybe a loved one dies or something like that, and that they want to do something about it. The Buddha said that such an event of great suffering either leads to madness or to noble search, aka you want to look for solutions. And we are only really interested in the left part of the map, maybe the first year or the first 3 years. The full enlightenment part can take an awfully long time if you don't take it too serious. Anyhow, when you begin, you start with a daily practice and really want to make sure that you don't miss a single session. Maybe you try several kinds of styles of meditation, maybe mindfulness of breathing, maybe metta, maybe Mahasi Sayadaw's noting style meditation or anything like that. And soon after you will experience some conventional benefits like good emotions, reduced stress, higher mental capacity and things like that. And some rare individuals will even be able to access the first jhana, which is a altered state of consciousness, which feels very, very pleasant and is a very good replacement for many worldly addictions. Okay, but that should suffice for an overview, as most things thereafter aren't really starting practices anymore. And before we begin with the actual content, a small disclaimer. The way to proceed through this map or this frame of reference depends a lot on your personal inclination and your starting position and the amount of emotional stability you bring with you. If you are already fairly stable, you need less work there, but you have to find your own weaknesses. That said, most people that feel somewhat stable are absolute emotional retards, to formulate it cautiously. They have no idea where their emotions are in their body, what they feel like. They can't even detect them, and thus they feel stable. And if there is even a slight bit of aversion toward things like metta meditation, you can be fairly certain that it is good for you to follow such practices. Okay, but now to the priorities. The absolutely most important thing if you want to meditate and already had some Divine Messenger-like event is that you want to establish a daily practice and do whatever it takes to never miss a single session. 1 minute a day is enough, as that already builds a habit. More is obviously better, but try not to overdo it and stick to maybe a 20-minute maximum rule. And try to find some style of meditation that allows you to feel it or to do a retreat. You want to notice that what you do has an effect to not get frustrated. If you do a meditation retreat of 10 days where you do nothing but meditate, it is impossible not to feel anything. Thus, it is a good entry point and many teachers recommend it. If you try to do it on your own, maybe start a meditation journal, as the changes will be small from day to day. But after a few months, there will be big differences that you can detect if you have written them down. If you did not write them down, your brain will be incapable of detecting those small changes. Human brains are very, very bad at doing or noticing small changes. And for the style of meditation, maybe start doing a labeling out loud meditation to get an idea of what there even is to feel or label. An alternative for that is to do a few body scan meditations to get familiar with all the sensations that are going on in your mind. And after that, you also want to make sure to purify your social life from negativity and maybe do some metta meditation until you are somewhat happy by default. As the Buddha said, only a happy person can meditate. What he meant by that is that only a happy person can access the deep concentration state. You can train yourself in mindfulness and concentration before, but your access to the very good feeling and pleasant things will be limited. So you have to purify your emotional self first before you can truly meditate. And only after that should you proceed with simple breath meditation or even trying to access jhana or the deeper concentration states. And most teachers and books assume a ton of progress since they are used to very motivated and interested practitioners. They omit a lot of the things that lead up to the point they assume, where most of their pupils start, so to speak. Pretty much my entire book, the Self-Improvement Almanac, is dedicated to establish that starting position and not assumes that those things are already there. Only if your life is very stable and your emotions are somewhat good can you truly meditate. And now to a few details on the various points I presented in brief. To purify your emotions, you want to get rid of negativity sources. While most of the negativity is in your mind, that is true, you can make it easier on you by changing your surroundings a little bit. Avoid negative people or agitating people and news, politics and social media. All of those things are a source of great stress, even if they feel somewhat gratifying at first. After you quit them for a while, you won't miss them. Also, it is a good idea to practice some charity by giving compliments or trying to be a nice person in general. After all, the world is your mirror, and if you treat other people nice, you will be treated nicely in return most of the time. Further, you can try to do metta meditation and start other meditations with a few minutes of metta directed towards yourself. This is especially important if your inner critic is very loud and very judgmental. And after all of that, we can start with cultivating mindfulness and concentration via breath meditation. If there are too many negative emotions, it is impossible to be concentrated, as the negativity will always catch your attention. And the meditation object you work with is secondary, but choose one your mind does not reject too much. Maybe try a new meditation subject or object out for 3 days and then decide. Give each of them a fair chance. And the first objective is to overcome forgetting to meditate, the mind wandering, and the monkey mind syndrome. AKA, you don't want your mind to be all over the place and jumping from topic to topic. You don't want to get lost in thought and wake up after maybe 5 minutes and can't remember what you've been doing. AKA, you don't want to not meditate when you sit on the cushion, which is very inviting for beginners. Most of them are just sitting there, getting lost, and entire meditation sessions can be done in trance without any meditation or any benefits coming from it. And all of this works best with positive reinforcement. The human mind only really works with positive feedback, as it always tries to avoid suffering, and negative feedback is suffering in itself, thus the minds try to avoid it. So if you wake up out of a trance, you should congratulate yourself and celebrate it, and don't criticize yourself for not being good enough or things like that. The latter will only lead to not making progress in meditation, while when you congratulate yourself for waking up, you have a higher chance next time to wake up sooner. Okay, but let us now come to the most important point. The individual starting positions of meditation vary, and right meditation is difficult. Teachers and books assume a lot of prior progress, but rarely make it explicit. Try to diagnose your own weaknesses and only proceed when they are, well, sufficiently fixed. And first, stabilize your life and your emotions, and then work on mindfulness and concentration. And by streamlining yourself to a degree, you set yourself up for good progress, and the general methods will work for you. If you are very special indeed, then other people can't really help you, as their methods only work for well-streamlined people that are in a stable position and have purified emotions, etc. Okay, and that is pretty much it for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you found this video helpful and enjoyed it, feel free to leave it a thumbs up and maybe subscribe to the YouTube channel. However, if you feel like I missed something or misrepresented something, please let me also know in the comment section so that other people and I can benefit from your wisdom. But until then, I wish you a pleasant day and goodbye.